Hello everyone, this is John with Acclaim Crafts, and I'm going to be showing you the different ways that you can put together your Acclaim Crafts Slid, the sleeve lid, and I'll be gluing one together for you too. So we'll go through the different ways that you can put it together. We'll cover the sleeve, we'll cover the lid, and then we'll cover the slid, as well as going into some of the things that you're going to want to be careful of as you're putting this together. Be mindful of, okay? So, first thing, obviously, on the top, you have a top. There are 9 pieces, 9 components in here, main components to this thing. The top is engraved with the graphics. If you don't like the graphics when you assemble it, you simply turn it over and use the back side, okay? Inside, you're going to find 2 long sides, 2 short sides, and 2 dividers. The long and short sides you will see have 4 tabs on one side and 3 on the other. That's true for both the long and the short. And then the dividers, and they're staggered, okay? The ones on the sides are staggered. And the dividers have 4 tabs each. The long and short each has 4, and they're directly across from each other. And then you'll have a piece that's got tape on it. You flip it over and you'll see there are 12 little tabs in there. For one kit, you don't need these. But if you buy more than one, you'll use these to lock them together for when you stack them, okay? And that kind of makes them really sturdy that way. Almost like one piece. So, let me see what else. This is a kit. We decided not to finish them or to assemble them. We take the wood as it comes from the manufacturer, we cut it, we wrap it, and we send it to you. We did that to save you money. Number one, I don't have the facilities here to do any finishing, and even if I did, it would raise the price so much, it would, I don't know that anybody would be happy with it. I think that, you know, we're trying to save you money. You put the thing together yourself, right? Everyone's done a kit of some sort or another. So, what you're going to want to do is maybe get some sandpaper. Lasers cut by burning the wood. They burn all the way through. So, you're going to have some black, some charring, maybe some ash on the edges or on the surface. If it's on the surface, maybe brush it off. If it's stubborn, use a fine, you know, maybe like a 220 sandpaper or something to sand that real nice. What else? You can use a Scotch scrubby pad, one of those green things you get at the store for like you do your dishes with or whatnot. Just be gentle. Don't do anything more than you need to remove the soot or whatnot. This the edges you can use just a regular a lint-free cloth, like a T-shirt, an old T-shirt maybe, and wipe all that off before you get to gluing, so you don't get it on your hands, and then start putting fingerprints all over the surface. You know. All right, so. So we have a sleeve, we have a lid and a slid. I'm going to start with the components you'll need to do a sleeve. A sleeve will consist of 3 sides, a top, and a bottom. Okay? Before as you lay it out and you're getting ready to do this, you're going to want to look at your material and get the nicest side facing out. Okay? So we'll go to the top here, and of course, for us, we want our graphics facing out. It's pretty that way. So we'll put that face down. We also have the long sides. We'll look at each of these. And this one I can see some of the flaring from the laser. So I'm going to want to put that, the good side facing down, just like the top. And get this ready to assemble. You want to do all this before you get the glue on it, right? And here, this looks like the best side of this one. So we'll put that facing down. We'll grab one of the short sides and put the good side facing down there. You'll notice that I have, hopefully you can see this in the video, I've placed all of the sides with the 4 tabs facing the top when it's flat, so that the 4 tabs, when I go to assemble, I will get 4 tabs into the top. Now, that's how we recommend doing this. If you want to go the other way, 3 tabs, or whatever it is you decide to do, 3, 4 tabs facing in as we recommend, or 3 facing in. Be consistent as as you get other kits, if you get another kit, because this will, if you do it wrong, you're going to realize why. What's going to happen is that these tabs will occupy those slots, and then when you go to stack another one on top, where you need to stack them may be occupied by one of the tabs. Don't know if that makes sense to you, but they won't mate if when you put them in, you put 4 down and say 3 down on the other side, okay? So we're going to mandate, it's a mandate, put 4 tabs into the top, face them down, and the 3 tabs up when you put this together, okay? Also, do a dry fit. Do a dry run, right? With no glue on it, you can't make any mess. You don't have to be particularly careful. And just to make sure, oh, I don't know, maybe you'll have a piece that's a little bit warped, it's going to have a tight fit. You want to be aware of that before you start doing the gluing, right? Once you glue these, they're going to be that way. If you've done your gluing right, they're not going to come apart on you. And, if you catch it when the glue is wet, you can probably get away with it. But just be careful. Also be careful when you're gluing that you don't get any glue. If you're going to be staining, you don't want any glue on any of the surfaces, because it will close the pores, and then if you use a darker stain, everything will look nice except where that glue is, it'll just stand out. You don't want to do that. If you get any glue on it, I don't know. You can try to wipe it off. You may have to let it dry and then sand it off. Hopefully you'll be careful, okay? So here we have our 3 sides, nicely dry fit into the top. And we have our bottom, and just put that in there. Tabs should pretty much fall into place, and there you go, that's it. So just make sure it's seated. Before you would glue, you would look and make sure you don't, that everything is, that all the tabs are in the slots, okay, all the way around on the 3 sides. And that's it. And now you have a sleeve to slide your boards into. You can get 2 boards in there in each of these sleeves. So, for the budget conscious, if you want to have a sleeve for a couple boards, or maybe 1 board and 2 side boards, 1 sleeve will do you for that setup. Please, again, watch Laurie's video. She goes into that in her video as well. So that's the one configuration. The other use for a sleeve other than transportation is storage. Storage on your work surface, maybe. And again, if you use the tabs, if you buy subsequent slids, they will stack on each other. You can use the tabs that we talked about earlier. Or if you're going to do an actual slid, and I'll show you that in a minute. Remember, we have a sleeve, which is what this is. We'll have a lid. I'll show you that in a second. Then we have a slid. The slid doesn't require the tabs, because if you've paid attention to going 4 down when you assemble the thing, right now it's 4 up. But those sides will stack in there nice for you, and you won't have to worry about any coincidence of tabs, and you'll be able to stack. Okay, what am I doing? I don't know what I'm doing. What's going on? There it is. Anyway, all right. So that's that for. But anyway, so there's your sleeve, okay? And let's look at a lid. I'm going to turn this back over. And again, we're dry fitting to make sure everything's going to work well. Your sleeve, or excuse me, your lid is going to have, again, I'm going 4 tabs down like I have on the other sides. It's going to have 4 sides on the top, and that's it. Dry fitting, make sure everything's going to work out nicely for you, and there you go. It'll go over your board. You've got in the lid configuration, without a bottom on it, you're going to have 2 1/4 inches of clearance from the top of your work surface to the inside top, or the bottom of the top, okay, of the lid. So you've got your beads piled up, maybe some chunky beads. You've got some tools, maybe some spools of thread. I don't know, wax and whatnot. You should be able to clear that, no problem. This is also very sturdy. I know Laurie said in her video, but I'm 185 pounds and I can stand on this. Just a little disclaimer there, do not try that at home, please. The fact that I'm dumb enough to do it doesn't mean that you should be too. The point of standing on the thing is to show you, to demonstrate that you can do some significant stacking. You can probably get, I don't know, maybe 2 boards per sleeve, 5 sleeves going up. You know, I would think, you know, boards weigh 3.5 pounds. Say 4 pounds, you know, each. You could stack 10. I don't know. You do the math on it, but you should be able to go. You know, I wouldn't go over maybe 5 stacks of these. That's getting pretty heavy, but you know, do your stacking at your own risk, I guess. But make sure that, you know, you're doing this just with our boards, because I know the weight of them, and like I say, this is sturdy. It's definitely going to keep a cat off your board, and the sides are going to keep little curious fingers from going in, and you know, it'll cover it and minimize the temptation. And the other thing we're going to talk about is going to be the slid, and the slid is a lid sleeve combination without one of the ends. So in this case, I'm going to be using this for a necklace board. I'm going to take out the short side, so that when it's assembled, it's glued and all, that we can get the boards in and out of one end, and we can also use it as a lid to cover up. And as Laurie pointed out, if you're going to be you know, if you do have young ones or curious kittens, you might want to take and trim that open end away, so all they see are the sides, and you can put this up against, maybe you have a hutch back here, or a wall or something on your work surface, okay? I want to point out to you that even though we are not using, for either the lid or the slid, we won't be using the bottom, we're not going to be gluing it on. We will be using it to index the tabs, so that the gluing will, okay, I'll show it to you this way. It's going to keep the sides perpendicular to the top, and so that when you do go to stack later, that you won't have, so I'm going to try to show you this here. I can pull these tabs out, and you can see the gap in here. You don't want that, and you don't want it here. Now you may think, oh fine, I'll just tape that. Well, there's a little bit of play inwardly too, and so what you're going to do now is kind of put them askew. They won't be perpendicular to the top. So once you do your gluing, go ahead and put, and I'll be doing this, by the way, because we're going to do a slid here in just a second. Make sure that you use this without any glue on it, just to index the sides so that they remain perpendicular to the top. That's about all I have to go into the different configurations there. Oh, one more thing. If you're going to be using the dividers, if you're going to use a sleeve with for your sideboards, okay, either the, what are the 40,007 and 40,008 sideboards, you're going to want to use one of these dividers. Oh, that's the short side. That won't work very well on the long side. Use one of these dividers, and that adds extra strength, and the division is nice in there too. But then when you put your top on, or your bottom, sorry, this is uber strong here for the boards that might tend to cause this to warp were it not supported, okay? The big boards, the large boards, the necklace and the bracelet and those, they'll be supported all the way out here on the edge as you're stacking. But the smaller boards are being split in the middle. They would have a tendency to put some of that weight distribution in the center line of the board, so I've designed in a central support so that that's not going to be an issue. All right? But we won't need that for our project. And that is, that's pretty much it. You know, if you're going to go the other way, you leave the other end off, take a long end off, and that would be your divider for those boards. I think that's about it. I think we're ready to glue. Oh, one last thing. If you are going to be using a divider, to help yourself get the glue, keep it straight in your mind, you know, where you can and cannot glue, I do a little pencil line along the edges of that central divider, and I know then not to get the glue outside of that into this area. It kind of keeps everything nice. Keeps your mind straight, right? All right. So we've done our dry fit. We're going to make just a slid, a three-sided lid. We're going to make sure that all 4 tabs are facing inward so that they'll go down when we put it together. We're also going to make sure that we have looked at the outside to make sure the good side, the best side, is facing down. And now we're going to glue. And where are we going to glue? We're going to glue in between each of these slots. If you were to put glue along this long edge and then put it in here, you're going to have glue occupying one of these slots and taking away the room that you will need to stack subsequent kits. If you get a second and a third, you want these holes clean. So we're going to put the glue here, not here, so that that glue doesn't get into those slots. Okay? I do want to say one thing, one more thing. I'm not going to do it here because I'm not going to be staining these. It's not a concern for me. But if you want to stain, make sure that you have some maybe newspaper or cardboard or something that you can throw away. When you get as you go from slot to slot or between slots to put the glue, some of that glue is going to go into those slots and it's going to get on your work surface. And then as you start moving this around, you're going to get some on the surface, and you know, it's going to be really messy. Okay, it could be messy. So make sure that you're not doing that you have something underneath you can throw away, and to keep the glue from getting all over the place. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start putting the glue together, and then we're not going to be gluing the bottom. I'm just going to use this to be indexing the sides so that this thing can cure properly. All right? So I'll just take this and we'll get going. I'm going to go in about 1/8 of an inch away, try to start and stop 1/8 of an inch away from the slots, because when we put the pressure on this I'm going to put some weight on it instead of clamping it. But essentially it's a clamping. When you go to clamp it, you don't want any of that glue to ooze into the vacant slots and cause a problem we talked about just a minute ago, where you'll have to somehow maybe chisel that out of there, and that can get to be a pain. So that's it. In between each one, leaving about 1/8 of an inch at each end, so that it doesn't, when we clamp it down, doesn't ooze into the slots. Remember, if you're doing a 3-sided, like we're doing now, we're doing a slid, don't put glue on the 4th side, because you want to have a piece there, right? No side that'll go in there. And put a little more there, and like that. Again, trying to make sure that we're not getting too sloppy. It's one thing if it gets in the hole, into the slot itself, but if you're going to be staining, again, you don't want any. It'll close the pores and it won't take the stain. Also, no glue on the corners. Just as a rule of thumb. Notice I haven't put any glue on any of these corners, and that's because depending on how you put it together, but the tabs may not, especially on the short sides, if you do a slid or a sleeve on the short sides, there's no wood here. There's 1/4 of an inch of airspace, and you just have a blob of glue there. It's plenty strong with it the way it is, with just between the slots without having to go on the corners. All right, so now I've dry fit everything. I know it's going to fit fine, so I carefully line up my 4 tabs with the slots, like so. And I take my 3rd. I still haven't put this one end all the way in because I want to leave room to get that tab on that end into the tab. Oh, boy, am I glad. See, one other thing I forgot to tell you. Put glue on either side of the slot on the long sides, in this case on the long sides. There are no slots on the ends on the short side, so. And then I only need it here because I don't have an end piece here. And then that, again, you don't want to put wood or glue on the edges of the sides, but just on either side of the slot. So we set that up. We set this in here. Again, 4 tabs down, good side facing away from me, facing away from the inside. This one here, like so. Line it up with the tabs, like so. Now we'll take the lid, or actually the bottom, and we'll set it on there. There's no glue, and that indexes the sides to make sure that they are that they're properly aligned and perpendicular with the top. I turned it over. I don't even know why I turned it over. It doesn't matter, but the glue's facing up, and I'm going to take a couple weights and put them here and there, close to the edges. You may want to put the weights on the bottom, I guess, so you don't scratch the top, right? And that's it, people. This, the glue I'm using, I didn't go over that. Sorry. I'm using E6000. It's a flexible glue. A wood glue would, it could dry and get brittle and fall out. We want this to remain flexible. It's a really, it's a strong adhesive. It fills gaps. It doesn't fall out. It's good stuff, and Laurie says most of you guys will have something like this laying around. So I used E6000 in there. And that's it. Then you let it, E6000 takes, they say, for maximum cure, 72 hours. That's 3 24-hour periods. But we've just let it set overnight, you know, like maybe 12 hours or something, and we put them right into service after that. That's it. If you have any questions, please let us know in the comments below. If you like the video, please give us a thumbs up, subscribe, and if you want to, you know, be kept abreast of other videos that we release, and be sure to hit the bell so that you're notified. Thanks a lot, guys. Wish you the best. Take care.